You've had 3 great speeches so far. This one's different. When I came to Guilford County, when I came to Guilford County, I found out that I wanted to be like Mike Rabin, but I'd have to shave my head and walk on my knees. So I couldn't do that. Let me tell you the story of my first wrestling team. I had just gotten out of the Army in 1993 and found a job mid-year coaching and teaching math in an unair-conditioned, single-wide trailer in North Charleston, South Carolina. Half the students were from the Air Force Base there, and the other half from the highest crime rate community in South Carolina. My introduction to coaching career came when I caught 2 young men in the back of my classroom drinking many bottles of vodka. I should have turned them in. Instead, I invited them to meet me in the gym locker room after school, where I put down some canvas horsehair mats, told them a few rules, and proceeded to wrestle their butts. Word got around of this demonstration, and I was approached by other young men to start a school wrestling team. The school didn't have a mat or anything close to one. So we practiced on these same horsehair mats on the stage in the cafeteria like many of us have, and I duct taped them together, and that was our wrestling mat. We had to schedule all our matches away because of no mat. And it happened to be that my first match was against one of the top schools in the area in Charleston, where my wife, Brenda, had attended. It was her high school. That night, when we went over to that first match, Brenda was my scorer, my assistant coach, my trainer, and my entire fan base at that night. Let me paint a picture of the first match. Having no uniforms, we dressed in gray sweatpants, gym shorts on the outside, white t-shirt. No wrestling shoes, so we had to tape up the metal eyelets on your high tops, on your Converse. The other team was decked out in new light blue singlets, warm-ups, and black ASIC shoes. My team had never seen a regulation wrestling mat, and they were amazed as the other team rolled it out. In my first match, the wrestlers crossed the mat to shake hands. You guys remember that when we used to cross in the 10-foot circle and shake hands. And I held my breath at the first match because I had told my kids to be aggressive and not be intimidated. My wrestler, Jackie, shook hands with his opponent, stepped on his collar, and the ref blew the whistle. Jackie immediately broke down and motioned for his man to come forward, saying this, "Come, my friend." But the initials were MF. The ref stopped the match and grabbed Jackie, dragging him over to me and asking what I was teaching these boys. The ref happened to be, if you guys knew Gene Stiles down at Citadel, he was my PE coach, and he finally convinced the other coach that we could continue on with the matches. 4 years later, this 3A team in North Charleston was second in the state of South Carolina when all 1A through 4A were together at one tournament. After that, Brenda and I moved to Anderson, South Carolina in '77, and I coached football, track, and wrestling at T.L. Hanna High School. I have some of my Hanna boys here today. I have Jerry Wigger, stand up Jerry, and Brian Sauter. They came from South Carolina to honor me today, and I appreciate it. I had been in the Army Reserves, but in 1986, as Kathy said, I went back on active duty and went to a hard job teaching ROTC at the University of Georgia for Vince Dooley's starting 22 football players. It was an easy A course. We moved from Athens to Greensboro in 1991. Found a job teaching math and coaching wrestling and football at Southeast High School. The coaches in the Triad area here accepted me as one of their own. People like Mike Rabin, Bill Bookout, Jim and Larry Coggins, Andy Chappell, who coached my son Jed. Jed wouldn't wrestle for me. Jim Horney, Richard Herman, Bobby Schreiner, Wayne Barker, Greg Harden, just some of the guys that really accepted me, and I do appreciate that. I've never said that before, but I do. Even officials, even like old Gary Ollis over here, Lance Sockwell, Dennis Barber, and others. I'm proud of the accomplishments of all my wrestlers over the years, and I could not have done it without the help of my assistant coaches, Mark Barrett, Jeff Pearson, and of course my son, Jed Cox. But the camaraderie among wrestling coaches and officials and tournament directors, like the great Mike Rabin and Kathy Dick, have meant the world to me. And I thank you all from the bottom of my heart. I'm gratified to know that my son Jed now works among you guys. I have to leave you with these thoughts. Set the example as a man. You never know who is watching you or whom you're influencing both in and out of that gym. Last thing to say is, I made this kind of a tradition. I sent a letter home, like most of you do on first days of practice, and list my priorities. My God, my family, and my great privilege of coaching. Thank you.